So, you're thinking about investing in Nigerian real estate, maybe looking ahead to 2026. Well, there is one single rule that could literally make or break your entire investment. Seriously, it's a mistake a lot of people make and it can cost them everything. Let's make sure you're not one of them.
All right, let's just jump right in with a question that seems so simple, but it trips up so many investors. Is a certificate of occupancy, the famous C of O, is that enough to really, truly secure your property? I mean, you'd think so, right? But the answer is a big, fat no. In fact, we're about to bust one of the most widespread and honestly, one of the most expensive myths in Nigerian real estate. And you can totally see why this happens. You get a C of O, it looks super official, it feels final. It seems like the absolute proof that you own that land. But here's the catch. For any property that's being resold, so anything that isn't brand new, straight from the government, believing that is a very dangerous assumption. So if the C of O isn't the final word when you're buying from someone else, then what is? Okay, let's get into the actual law of the land. The answer you're looking for is this document right here, the governor's consent. And notice that word, mandatory? It's an absolute legal requirement. This is the document that validates any transfer of ownership. Doesn't matter if it's a sale, a gift, even a mortgage. This is the official government stamp that says, yep, this transaction is legit. And look, this isn't some new rule they just cooked up. This whole thing is rooted in a foundational law, the Land Use Act of 1978. That's the act that basically says all land in a state is technically in the hands of the governor. And that's exactly why you need their consent to legally move it from one person's name to another. Okay, this next part is the absolute core of what you need to understand. We're going to put these two documents side by side so the difference becomes crystal clear. And this lays it out perfectly. Just look at the C of O on the left. It's only issued one time, just once, to the very first person who ever got that land from the government. You can think of the C of O like a property's birth certificate. It only happens once. But the governor's consent, that's needed for every single transaction after that, and it's issued to the new buyer. Let's walk through it. So step 1, the government gives a piece of land to its first owner. Step 2, boom, a C of O is issued to them. Simple enough? But then that owner decides to sell. And this brings us to the most critical step of all, step 4. The new buyer absolutely must get a governor's consent to perfect their title. It is not optional. Okay, so what if you don't? What happens if you skip that step? Let's talk about the very real, very serious risks of having incomplete paperwork. Just let that quote sink in for a second. Without that consent, the official government record, the one that actually matters in any legal fight, still has the seller's name on it as the legal owner, not yours. And this is exactly where people get into trouble. They think, but wait, I paid every last kobo? I have a signed deed of assignment? And yeah, a deed of assignment is an important private contract between you and the seller, but it does not, I repeat, does not change the government's official record of who owns that land. So here's the bottom line. Without a governor's consent, the number of legally recognized owners in the government's files is still one, just one person, the original owner. In the eyes of the law, your purchase hasn't been officially finalized, and that leaves you and your hard-earned money completely unprotected. But listen, it doesn't have to be that scary. Now that we all understand the risk, let's talk about the final, simple step you need to take to make sure your investment is rock solid. Here it is, your simple checklist. Every time you're about to buy, you ask these questions. First, is this a resale property? Second, does it already have a C of O? If you answer yes to both of those, then getting a governor's consent is 100% non-negotiable. It's the only way you'll be legally seen as the new owner. Remember how we started, talking about securing your real estate goals? Please, don't let all of your hard work, all your savings, all your planning get completely derailed by this one critical but so often misunderstood piece of paper. So I'm going to leave you with this final thought, a question to ask yourself on any future deal. Your payment is made, your deed is signed, everything feels done. But is your name on the official record? Because without that governor's consent, the answer is always no.